look possibly really bad once we import them to Maya. That means we have to go back and tweak them even more to kind of get what we're looking for. Okay, so here in Unity, all we want to do is we're going to go ahead and close that. And all you're left with right now is nothing, basically. So the first thing you want to do is add a terrain. So that's the first thing. You can see how everything is unhighlighted. So you're going to go to terrain and then create terrain. Once it creates a terrain for you, you're going to zoom out. And what I like about the terrain is that if you select it, it will give you its coordinates. So you can see it's 0, 0, 0. That's great. I can move it down in 10 if I want to, minus 10. Okay, or I can move it in value by hitting value or moving it physically. Now I like everything to start at 0, so we're just kind of clean on that. So everything starts at 0. We know where our terrain is. So this is the manipulator. This is where you bring in your models, and this is where it tells you what's inside the scene. So right now what's inside the scene is our main camera, the main camera that we get to move around, okay? And then the terrain. That's all we have right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create just some objects just to stand there and for us to play around with so we can see what we could do. So we're going to go ahead and go into create. Actually, where are the game objects? Yeah, game objects. And game objects, create other, and we're going to go ahead and create anything right now just so you can understand the basics of Unity. So we're going to go ahead and create a bunch of cubes. So here's the cube. Now, you can't see the cube, possibly because the terrain is really huge or the cube is very small. So you have a bunch of options. Option number 1 is that you hit the F key. See how when I hit the F key, it just zooms in. And it's really close about what the object wants to be. So there's my cube. I think relative to the terrain, I want to make these as buildings. So I'm going to go ahead and use these tools, which is move, rotate, and scale. So I'm going to scale this to make it more like a building. So I'm going to zoom out. And again, you're using your option right, just like we do in Cinema 4D. And I'm going to go ahead and move it down, zoom out, and move it down. Now, you can see if it goes into the gray, that means it penetrated the terrain, so you can move it a little bit up. And what we want to do is just move it a little bit in more. And I kind of want it a little bit bigger. So anywhere I move it, I can't see it. I'll hit the F key so I can see it. So you don't want to spend too much time moving your camera around. You can just create it. I'm just going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so that's good. Let's go ahead and create a few more. So I'm just going to copy paste the same thing, Command C, Command V. Guess what? I'm going to get another one. There it is. Command C, Command V. There it is. Command C, Command V. There it is. And then I'm going to select all of them if I hold the Shift key. And I'll go ahead, Command C, Command V. There they are. Just created the town in 10 seconds. All right. Now, in order to see this town, you most likely, let me just move it away from the edge of the world. You don't want to fall because it's a pretty scary feeling when you get to the edge of the world right there. So I'm going to keep it right there in the center. Okay, so right there are my objects. Now I want to go ahead and create a person to actually play and place so they can actually move around. So that's under these elements. Remember, these elements are all your assets. But here's what's inside the game. Does that make sense? It's really easy to understand. So this is what's inside the game right now. We have a bunch of cubes. We have a main camera that we possibly don't need it right now. So I'm going to right mouse click and say delete. So anything you want to delete, right mouse click and delete it. It's gone. So we have the terrain and a bunch of cubes. So what we want to do right now is go under standard assets. So we're creating stuff for the PC. And, so your games can actually play on the PC. We have also an option so they can actually export and play on mobile devices like your phones. And now Unity actually works with Droid and Android and iPad. We're actually creating stuff for the iPad at work right now. So, yeah, Unity is just awesome. So we're going to be using the regular standard assets. And if you open up, you see how you can collapse and expand that. So we're going to expand it. And in standard assets, you'll see character controllers. And then you have first person and third person. We're going to be doing a first person right now. So we're going to go ahead, drag first person, and just drag him out here. So you'll see that first person is right there. All I have to do is just make sure that he's on the terrain so he doesn't fall off the terrain. Okay, you don't have to be on the floor. It can be anywhere. He'll actually kind of fall when we hit play. Let's check it out. So let's hit play. Okay, so there it is. The problem I'm having is that it's way too dark, so I need to add lights. Plus, I'm way slow. I'm like totally slow-mo right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit stop. Okay, so now we know how to import our first-person character. We know how to create different elements. So now I want to go ahead and add some lights. So to add some light, I'm going to go into... I believe game object. There we go. So you can choose any light. Right now you can say directional, since directional is pretty straightforward. And you can see that it's still kind of dark, so you can rotate that. And we can rotate it. There we go. We can get sunlight kind of like coming this way. The sun is coming this way. It's more, that's kind of high noon. So we'll just keep it a little afternoony here. All right, so now before I move on, I want to also take my first person. And under here, this is again, everything I can manipulate here. So whatever I select here, it turns into whatever it is. So this is the coordinates for the cube. If I select my first person, that's all my controllers for the character. So right here under character motor skills. So under the motor scripts right here, we want to go under movement. You guys see movement right there? So we're going to click on movement. And we're going to maximum forward. I'm just going to double that, maybe triple it. Let's try 30. And let's do it for all. So you don't want them slow down on the back. Kind of be weird. And let's go ahead and hit play. So if I hit play, yay. I fall down so slowly for some reason. But anyway, so now I'm walking.
I think those boxes are just really huge.
Yeah, they are huge. They're kind of like buildings. But the cool thing about it is that, there we go. I placed them really far away too. Yeah, they're really huge. They're like buildings compared to. But again, you know, so now you can go in. Now this is your city. So if I go through one of the buildings, bam, I'll stop. I'm stuck, right? Because you can't just, boom, ouch, that hurts. So that's how you can go ahead and create your city. You can go back and go forward, and you can go through them, side. Okay, so this is our first demo. So whenever you're done, you're going to go ahead and hit stop, and then that will give you back here. Now, remember how we started really far away? So I want to take my first person, and I want to bring him closer. So that's the move. Remember the move? I want to bring him closer to the environment. I want to put him right there. Did you say on top of the building?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what happens if I put him on top of a building.
Yeah, make you jump in really
Okay, so there's my person. There he is. I'm going to put that down right there. I'll put him a little higher so he lands on the box, and then later we'll jump. Choo! Boom. Yeah, I'm on top of the world. Okay, so let me go ahead and look down. Whoa, kind of scary there. Whoa, just fell. Yeah, he has a little bit of automatic follow through and overlap actions in his timing, which makes the character more realistic. But as you can see, that it's really a lot of fun once we start creating your cities. Does that make sense, everyone? Any questions? Okay, so So again, we're gonna create a new project. In the new project, we're gonna go ahead and delete the camera, and then just go ahead and create different terrains. So we're gonna create a terrain first, different game objects. Under game objects, create other. You're gonna have cube, sphere. Just create some stuff here. Don't spend too much time because there's just a test for you to know how to move around. Create some stuff there, and then we're gonna go ahead into the standard assets, bring your first person, drag him in here, and then bring in some lights. Also under create others, directional light. And all this has been recorded, so you can go ahead and refer to the